I think we're at the brink of World War III. I'm very happy for the military-industrial complex. This is great for them. They deserve it. A lot of people are gonna die. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole Israel versus Palestine thing? I'm pro-war. I'm just pro-war. That's what's most important to me. What about you? I'm anti-peace. Though different, I can empathize with your perspective. How do you think we got here? Where a month ago, none of us were emotionally enraged into supporting an all-out Israel versus Palestine war, and now all of a sudden we're all emotionally impassioned into believing this war must happen. Well, I think the reason why I'm so pro-war all of a sudden is because I've effectively been manipulated by weaponized morality via the media. Well, it started with Hamas's evil terrorist attack on innocent Israeli civilians on October 7th. Because that's pure evil, I'm automatically on board with retribution against them at all costs. And now the retribution against them involves thousands of Palestinian civilians being killed in bombings that are intended for Hamas, which I'm totally on board with because of what Hamas did on October 7th. Me too. Then there's all the kill the Jew people around the world dedicated to looking like evil idiots. They're totally on board with war because them being on the other side, they want all the Jews eradicated. They probably don't know that they look like little crappy Hitler clones, do they? Not too much self-awareness on their part. But in addition to all the kill the Jew people wanting war, there's people who see them looking like detestable evil idiots, and that makes them want war even more because of how detestable all the kill the Jew people are. I'm now even more anti-peace. Same. And then there's all the devastating things that Israeli government has done to Palestinian people over the last handful of decades. Pretty terrible. So that unto itself causes more people to get on board with this war because they think what the Israeli government has done is pretty unjust. There's just no justice and peace. Then there's all the imbeciles on US college campuses openly supporting Hamas, saying that Israeli citizens deserved what Hamas did to them. And because there's such a vile group of people openly supporting evil terrorists, that makes it that much easier for people on the other side to slide down the slope of being super on board with this war. Without really thinking about it, because they're so against what these pro-Hamas college campus idiots stand for. College is always money well spent. So at this point, no matter which side you're on, we all want war. It's the only answer. Yeah, we all do want war all of a sudden, but how could you not when the media is feeding us all these things that make us passionately certain that war is super justified? Yeah, so what's important to not think about is how the media might be playing us to be super supportive for war.
It's been a minute since we reacted to good old JP, and I kind of wish I would have did this video early on. So this is going to be a reaction review, by the way. I have seen a bit of this clip already, and yeah, he makes a really good point. In the beginning of the clip, he said, like, you know, the weapons industry is doing a really good job right now, and the other JP said, yeah, they deserve it. The reason why media on either side, whether you're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel, is pushing both sides into being pro-war. This is why I've continually said I'm not picking sides, because if you pick sides, it's usually you're just picking one side to beat the other. Now, there, of course, there's been a new hashtag ceasefire, even though it seems like more people are just interested in the ceasefire on one side of the aisle than the other. But people say that because this aisle is sort of blasting this side a little bit more. There's been more lives lost on the Palestinian border, but it still just seems like, generally speaking, more people wouldn't care if Palestine kept throwing bombs to Israel. They just want ceasefire on one side of the coin, which is Israel to Palestine. That's what I've seen. I'm sure there's many people like me who want ceasefire on both sides, want hostages returned, and wants peace, and is completely and utterly anti-war. But yeah, it is funny how either side of the coin was fighting and pushing and yelling for war, celebrating war, celebrating death, because if one side got the other, then they were happy. If the Jewish side got more people in Palestine, then it was like, yay, they got more Hamas, even though majority of it was just Palestinian children. When the Israeli attack first happened, people were almost cheering on the attack and cheering on Hamas and saying, well, Israel deserved it. When he was talking about the yelling for the death of, that was a really big protest in Australia who was permitting that, and again called for violence, but no one got arrested. Either way, both sides was pushing for more war, and who benefits from war? your senators and your congressmen and your billionaires and trillionaires, the 1%. Anywho, let's continue. Hey guys, a quick little break. This video is sponsored to you by me in my merch shop. I came up with some new merch and Christmas is right around the corner. Get yourself some cool swag that will help you start a conversation, and it also helps support this channel. Okay, back to your regular schedule program.
What do you mean? The media is just telling us what's going on. It just so happens that hearing what they tell us has swayed us all to want an incredibly deadly thing that none of us genuinely wanted even a month ago. Yeah. Do you remember how all throughout COVID you saw the media as nothing but a propaganda arm influencing people to support masking, lockdowns, jabs, and the abolishing of constitutional rights? Dude, I didn't trust a thing they told me about what was going on. Right. And have you ever thought about why you're now trusting what the media is telling you about what's going on with Palestine and Israel? No, I never have thought about that, and I don't think I will. Which is great, you're not supposed to. And do you think the media has changed since COVID? Well, I mean, I'm the one sort of believing them now and going along with how they want me to be, pro-war, so they must have changed and become a little more honest, right? Yeah, that's probably it. And the other thing not to consider is why all of us who are super pro-war all of a sudden are being played into supporting this war. What shouldn't I consider about that? Well, just 2 weeks before the October 7th Hamas attack, Israeli President Netanyahu showed the UN Assembly a new map of the Middle East, and it had no Palestine on it. And given the fact that the Israeli government originally funded Hamas, you have to wonder if their plan was to get Hamas to attack them in an evil, unforgivable way, which then justifies a massive retaliation of force to literally wipe Palestine off the map. The media hasn't told me much about that, so you're probably just an anti-Semite. Exactly, that's the new term meant to intimidate people from remembering their humanity and realizing they might be getting played by the globalists into supporting this war. Got me to say it. And then you can further consider how the US is funding both sides of the war, giving $6 billion to give to Iran, to give to Hamas, and we're sending billions to Israel to aid in their military effort. Couldn't be about oil. I'm sure it's not. So when you consider these facts, you might start to believe that war was the goal all along, meant to accomplish a further goal that's not being honestly shared by certain governments. And they're using the media to prey on people's morality that just wants evil abolished and justice for good in order to get them to be supportive for this war. So you're saying the reason why I might be so pro-war no matter what side I'm on is because I've been played by the media to be obedient with her nefarious agenda? No, of course not. What I'm saying is if you're a good person, you better forget your humanity and be all out supportive for this war. Okay, I am. I support it. Thank you for standing with the current thing. You're a good little sheep. Thank you. You're welcome.
So I actually, like I said, saw or listened to some of this clip already. I didn't get that far. Like, I just learned some new shit in their video. I've heard some of this already before. Let's back up a little bit. I like the word he used, weaponize morality. This idea, if you don't stand on this side, then you're not a good person. You don't have good morals. This sort of shaming that I've even experienced throughout my videos I've had here on YouTube. People shaming me because I keep saying I'm not picking sides. I'm just anti-war. How can you not be picking sides? You're pro-genocide then. Like this sort of push of if you don't stick with our ideology in our narrative, then you're a bad person. Fortunately, I'm not that easily fucking swayed. I like to just sit back and observe all the information before I come up with my own conclusion. It's called critical thinking and thinking for yourself. Try it sometime. So the fact that he brought up the idea that Netanyahu, I believe it's Netanyahu, or the Prime Minister President of Israel, showed a map before the Hamas attack that there was no Palestine that existed. And I have heard the fact that Israel kind of put Hamas in place because somehow it benefited Israel at that moment, and that in the short run anyway. So if Israel put Hamas in place, let's say Hamas has an IOU to Israel. And Hamas is a terrorist group, and terrorist groups usually don't even care about their own kind. Look at ISIS, who will terrorize their own people and for themselves, they just want more power. So let's say, I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying this is true, but let's say Israel put Hamas into place. Hamas has a big IOU to Israel, and Israel says, hey, we need you to do this thing because we need to get people riled up enough so we can then wipe out Palestine. Can you please attack us and make it really bad, like really gruesome, so it really gets people really angry, and then therefore we can go after you and get rid of Palestine. And maybe Hamas didn't know the whole story, but they went along, right? Not to say that takes any accountability and responsibility off Hamas. Hamas is accountable for their own actions, and they're disgusting freaking human beings on this planet. There need to be ramifications and justice for what they have done to Israelis and to their own people. But let's say that's true. And then now you have a reason to go to war, and now everybody is being played here, right? United States has funded both sides, but we're only supposed to be allies to Israel, put some humanitarian money over there at Palestine, but allies with Israel. But we're funding both sides, which is not new for America. America has funded both sides of wars all the time. With the weapons industry has done this many times over the years since war has existed. Instead of people looking at just Netanyahu and Hamas and the government of the United States and pointing fingers at them and going, what the fuck? We're not going to stand for this. We're not going to play your puppeteered game and battle cry for more war because it benefits you and it benefits politicians and it benefits terrorists. We're not going to do that. We're just going to stand on the side of anti-war, period, and we're going to go in for the people that are in control. Instead of doing that, we've attacked each other. We've condemned each other. We've gone into the streets and chanted death and applauded the death of, you know what I mean? Or had no humanity and no sympathy when Palestinian children are dying, right? Like when he said that the media basically like programmed you or duped you or indoctrinated you, just like really not having any empathy for the other side. And this is again why I said I'm not choosing sides, because when you choose sides, you inherently lack empathy for the other side. You don't want to hear their plight. You don't want to hear their stories. You don't care about their lived experience. You don't give a fuck who died on the other side. You're just pro whatever side you're on. And this is why I will still stand double down on I'm not picking fucking sides. I'm anti-war. Yeah, ceasefire, and also give the hostages back. Anyway, I like everything he said. I think it was really well-rounded, and I do think that he showed both sides of the coin. He didn't seem like he was heavily on one side or heavily on the other side. If you are heavily on one side, you probably don't like some stuff that he said. But I think that I liked what he said, because I think at the end of the day, it was showing humanity for both sides, and it was pointing a big red arrow to the people that we really should be fucking pissed off at. Again, I'm anti-war, pro-ceasefire on both sides of the coin. That's meaning Israel shouldn't have to live under an Iron Dome for the rest of their lives because they're having rockets shot at them. Rockets should stop being sent over to Israel, but also Palestinians should stop being replaced and pushed out of their homeland and being promised land, and then Israelis going over and settling on the land that they were promised. I don't think that Palestinians should be wiped off the land of Gaza or the West Bank, but there needs to be ceasefire on both sides, empathy on both sides, stop being pro-war on both sides, humanity on both sides. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you agree with me or JP, if you disagree with us, please let me know in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. Please donate or visit my merch shop. It really helps keep me on this platform. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.